In today's video, we're going to be looking at Manic Panic in the color Alien Gray. I have my swatches labeled 1 through 12, but that is not synonymous with hair levels. I do pictures and clips near the end of the video, so the numbers just help us keep track of each swatch. Also, for some reason, I labeled both of these number 10, and then I had to fix it, so that's why it looks like that. So number 1 is pink. I know some people will use grays over existing color to try and mute it down and give a more like soft look. So I decided to go with like a brighter pink to see how that would look. 2 is gray. We'll see if the undertones are any different or light or darkness. 3 is a natural red. 4 is black. And then from 4 to 11 is a range that goes to platinum blonde. And then number 12 is like a more toned version of number 11. So to start, I will take the dye directly from the container and I will put it at the top of each swatch. Some people do like to dilute their dyes, so I will do a diluted version at the bottom of each swatch. Please keep in mind everyone's hair is different, which means everyone's hair will take dye differently. Also, I've noticed that different screens and monitors can make colors look different, especially undertones. So just use my video as a reference for how this could possibly turn out for you. For our diluted version, we're going to actually do equal parts. So it's going to be 1 part dye to 1 part diluter. If you're unsure what diluter is, my simple answer that I like to give is that it's just something that lightens the color of your semi-permanent dye. And if you're wondering, I always just use a plain white conditioner. I'm gonna let these sit for about 3 hours. I will then rinse them out, and when they're dry, I will meet you back here and we'll do some comparisons. So if you're wondering what the undertone of this gray is, I would say it's definitely very purpley. And because of that like purpley undertone, I feel like it actually kind of stayed a slight purple look on the number 1 swatch on both the top and the bottom. It definitely is more pink on the bottom, but it became a very, very unique purpley muted color on number 1. Number 2 changed the undertone of the gray on both the top and the bottom. The top was a lot darker than it was before, and I think even the diluted section is darker. I feel like it made it look even more cool toned. As for 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 as well, it basically muted the color down. So they all look like similar versions of themselves. Like 3 still looks like a more natural red. These still look like browns, but they're not quite as warm toned as they were before. You could argue that 9 and 10 do look relatively gray, but compared to how it looks on the platinum blonde swatch, you can still see a bit of like a blonde look going on with those. And if you are looking to kind of smoke your hair out a little bit, this might be a really good option for you. especially if it's like a dark blonde, medium brown. I feel like it did a really good job on 7, 8, 9, and 10 for the smokiness. I like it a lot. And then 12 was the toned version of number 11, and it definitely looks a little bit more cool toned. You can see a tiny bit more purple coming through. So it doesn't hurt to tone your hair first if you're trying to get a very, very cool look. But honestly, the purple in the gray does help to eliminate a lot of the blonde, if all of the blonde, even in the diluted section. And I would say it's a medium toned gray. It's not quite a charcoal, but as you can see, it does lighten up pretty well. It can get lighter. So I think medium toned makes the most sense. I have noticed so far that a lot of grays tend to kind of lean green. So I picked out my 2 least green grays, and we're gonna start with Arctic Fox Sterling as a comparison. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, and number 10. Hopefully you can see now just how purpley the Alien Gray leans. I will say I think Sterling is a really great gray. It's not too green, and you can see it's also not too purple. It's a really good in between, but like I said, the purple in the gray is really good for toning out yellows, so something like this might be better if your hair tends to hold on to yellows really well. But I would say both of these are mid-range grays, not too dark, not too light. Sterling is just a little bit more neutral, while Alien Gray is a little bit more purpley cool toned. The other comparison I have is Lime Crime in the color Gargoyle. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, and number 10. First, as you can see, I used to do my numbering a little different, and I also used to do 2 diluted sections. So this section, about around here, I think is diluted, and this is diluted again. So this is the direct dye on top. This is another cooler tone gray, but this one leans a little bit more blue in my opinion. Lime Crime also has one called Charcoal, and I believe that one's a little bit more green leaning, so it depends on kind of what your hair needs. But looking at the diluted sections, I feel like diluting the Lime Crime one is not as good of an idea unless maybe you have toned hair already. It could be because of the blues in the dye, I'm not really sure. It could even be because these are swatches that I did a while ago at this point. I'm sure I did things a lot differently in the beginning of my channel. But again, they're kind of both mid-tone grays. In some lightings, Lime Crime might look a little bit darker, but I think they're actually about the same. Gargoyle just seems to lean a little bit more like blue, maybe blue-green even, versus Alien Gray again being purple. So now I'd like to get into the before and after clips. Those, as well as anything you see after that point, will all be done in natural lighting. I do have to do these on different days, and since I'm using natural lighting, the lighting environment can kind of differ between the days, so if anything looks slightly strange between the before and after, that is why. I hope this video helped. If you have a request, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out, but just remember, I only do dyes that do not test on animals. Thank you so much to my patrons, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.